A man who complains. Most women have experienced this before in a relationship, or even worse, early on, first, second, third date. A man who is complaining about his life, the restaurant, about the situation that you two are in, about, God forbid, a past relationship, an ex, his mother, his job, anything. Most women have experienced this with a man, and it's not a pleasant experience for a woman. It's a very uncomfortable situation, and it will tend to bring up feelings of either irritation, frustration, and or anxiety. And there is a specific reason that you are feeling anxiety if that comes up. It's not because you're wounded. It's not because you're selfish. You just want to talk about something fun and happy. It is your feminine instinct that is warning you that something is not okay. Now, obviously, nobody is going to like complaining, right? Like if you complain with complaining energy with a man, he's not going to like that either. But it's going to tend to bring up different feelings for a woman, because when a man complains, it is communicating to the woman that she is actually not safe. She is not safe in that dynamic with that man. She is putting herself at risk. And if she decides to submit to that man sexually, or if she has, she's putting herself and her potential children at much more risk. There's a deep instinctual reason for this, and it's really important that a woman understands what that is. And it's also very important, if you have experienced this or you will experience it in the future, which you probably will, that you know how to deal with it as far as your communication. Otherwise, it's probably going to continue, and it's going to be increasingly frustrating and potentially anxiety-provoking for you. So we're going to talk about all of that on this video. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video, because I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you today. And if you would like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns and into inspiring a man into taking care of you, then go below this video, open up the description, and go to my free webinar at zachrohdecoaching.com, where I will show you how to do just that. All right, so anxiety when a man is complaining. I got this topic from my book. I'm going through my book right now, Inspire His Devotion. You can find it on Amazon by typing in my name, Zach Rohde. We're going through the first example. So here it is. A man who complains because it communicates that he isn't a problem solver and thus can't provide. So this is one of the many examples I'm bringing up about what can cause a woman's feminine instinct to activate and feel anxiety, which isn't a wound. It's your instinct warning you that something is wrong. So when a man complains, he's telling you that he's not a problem solver, that he's not really capable of solving his own problems, which also means he's not capable of solving your problems. He doesn't have enough masculine energy, ambition, ability to contain himself, and all of that is a problem for a woman, right? Because understand that your body, I'm not talking about modern day society, I'm talking about your body and the way that it is wired. It is wired to find a healthy masculine man who provides for you and protects not just you, but also any future children that you have, and that he is reliable, he's capable, and he's devotional, right? Like he wants to do it. So he wants to take care of you on that kind of level, which creates a lot of safety for you, because that tells you if you were to follow his leadership inside and outside of the bedroom, and you have children with him, and you have that level of trust for him, you're safe. You will be taken care of. And that's a very important need for a woman. It is the most important need in a relationship for a woman. But if a man is complaining, he is telling you the opposite of that. He is communicating, I am not capable of being that provider and protector because I don't know how to handle my own problems. And it's funny, a lot of men, men who are not fully developed in their masculine energy, they get upset with this idea of like that a woman's not really there to support him, as like, a woman would abandon a man if he just has a whole bunch of problems, which isn't necessarily true, but there is some truth to that. And that he can't open up with a woman and just share everything that's coming up for him. right? A lot of men are bothered by that because they haven't developed themselves to a high degree in their masculine energy, right? Like in my marriage with my wife, I don't want to talk about my problems at all. Doesn't mean I don't have problems. I have lots of problems in my business. I got problems that come up with my daughter, just in my life in general. But it's not that I don't talk about them. I'll talk about anything that's actually relevant to her, like with our daughter, but not from a place of complaining, from a place of, here's a problem, let's solve this, right? So that's going to be healthy masculine energy. In my business, I'm not going to bring that stuff up with her at all. I used to, right? I used to be the kind of man where it's like, we're just going to share everything and talk all about our problems. I wouldn't do it from a complaining energy, right? It's much worse. The worst thing that a man can do is share his problems with his woman using that complaining energy, right? That like kind of whining and, oh, my life sucks. And like there's that victim energy that comes with it, because now that's all going into a woman. He's putting that energy onto her, and it compels a woman into that mothering energy, right? Where it's like, oh, my little boy, you got these problems, mommy will help, right? A woman doesn't want to be in that energy with a man, but many women will find themselves compelled into that role because a man is kind of putting her into that role because of his complaining. But even if he's not using that complaining energy, even just sharing problems, not from a place of, hey, here's this problem, here's how we're going to solve it, right? Nothing wrong with that, but just, all these problems. It puts a woman more into that problem-solving energy, which means that mothering energy, like, hey, okay, we'll fix this, because a woman isn't going to feel comfortable with a man sharing all of these problems that don't have any direction and leadership to get solved, okay? So she will feel anxious, and then that anxiety puts her into mothering mode to get them fixed. And the issue with that is the more that you do that, the more that you allow a man to put you in that mothering role and to start fixing the problems, well, now you're contributing to the depolarization in that dynamic, right? And you're going to start to lose respect for the man. And the absolute worst thing that can happen, the absolute worst thing, is if the man in some way is receptive to you being in that problem-solving mode for him. Because now he's receptive to you being his mother, and now he's going to be more likely to complain and vent and share his problems, which means this pattern is going to become exacerbated and you're going to feel more anxiety, right? You're going to lose more and more respect for him. You're going to see him less as a capable leader, someone who is capable of taking care of you, and more like someone who's, your little boy that you need to be taking care of. It's going to ruin the dynamic. And this happens in so many relationships because men don't know how to just solve their problems themselves. They're like looking for someone to share their problems with. They're too much in their feminine energy, right? What shifted that for me, like I said, so I never would be in that victim energy, but I would share my problems. It was just like, let's just talk about our problems together, because my masculine instinct wasn't fully online. And so when I did that with my wife, of course, she didn't like it. And it's funny, she would go into this problem-solving mode, and I'd be like, I didn't really want you to solve my problems. I can do that myself. Like, this is what I would think to myself. I was just talking, I was just, bringing up this conversation. So I would actually get irritated with her when she did that, because my masculine instinct was online enough to know, this doesn't feel good for her to be in mothering mode. But it wasn't online enough for me to know that just talking about problems was an issue and that it was my job not to do that. Now understand what I am not saying. This is an important little piece of information here. Women will think like, man, that's horrible, like that a man can't open up and share his problems. Like, where is he supposed to go? Like, a man might commit suicide or whatever if he has nowhere to share problems. First of all, a man can share problems with other men. Historically, he should have like a tribe. Historically, as in like thousands of years ago, he should have a tribe of men, including elders, to go to for any problem, not his woman. Because a man with his woman, he is supposed to be in the caretaking role with his woman. He is supposed to be the one that is taking care of her. It would be as weird as like if you as a woman brought up your problems with your children. You shouldn't be doing that. Why? Because you're in the caretaking role with your children. They are there to be taken care of. You're supposed to be creating that container for them to feel safe and to help them grow up. And if you put your feelings onto them, whether you're doing it with complaining energy or not, you are inverting that dynamic where now they're going to start to feel responsible for your problems and, I don't feel safe anymore. And they're doing the exact same thing that you're doing with the man, right? Where it's like they now feel anxious and are trying to solve the problem that you're putting onto them, essentially. So there is an order to this. It's like man takes care of his woman, woman takes care of the children. Obviously, the man's taking care of the children as well, right? But there are these caretaking roles. A man should ideally get to the point where he doesn't need to share his problems with anyone. I mean, to get to the highest level, you're always going to have to bring up problems. But I mean, he won't have to bring up problems because he's experiencing an emotional issue, right? Like every man is going to have problems, but hopefully he can get to the point where his emotions aren't off track. It's like he can feel good no matter what because he's gained mastery of his emotions. But if he can't, he should be going to elders, he should be going to a friend circle, he should not be relying on his woman because that's just out of order and it causes polarity issues. Once I figured this out, I just stopped sharing these problems with my wife. And by doing that, understand, when a man is sharing his problems with his woman, and his woman, if you're actually facilitating it in some kind of way and enabling it in some kind of way, you're enabling him to stay wounded. You're enabling him to stay stuck. When he decides, I'm not going to put these problems on my woman, now he has this opportunity to look inward and get more resource and figure out how to solve his own problems. So he ends up becoming more masculine because he's not using you as a way to feel more comfortable by putting those problems onto you. Now, if you have experienced this with a man, it's very important that you do not stay silent, that you don't enable him, that you don't play mummy. It's very important that you listen to your feminine instinct that is bringing up that anxiety and possibly that irritation as well, and you communicate what's coming up for you using feminine communication. You have to share that you're feeling that anxiety. You have to share what the problem is, not judging him, but share what the problem is for you, right? Why it's a problem, what it's doing to you, not in a victim kind of way. And you're opening yourself up to his help. You're asking him for help because this is a problem that you are experiencing. This is how you repolarize the dynamic. You inform him of what you're experiencing so that hopefully he's like, oh yeah, I don't want to cause those feelings for my woman. I'm going to stop doing that. And by you doing that, you are stepping into your self-worth as a woman. Because if you enable it, you're communicating, I don't have self-worth. I have such little self-worth that I am willing to tolerate this yucky feeling and this yucky dynamic that is being caused here. And I'm just going to stay silent. You're allowing yourself to be a doormat. Get out of any kind of programming that you have where it's like, this is what men and women are supposed to do together. That women are supposed to be there to hold space for a man's problems, for his complaining. No, that is not your role. That is not your role at all. And you need to do something by communicating what's coming up for you if he tries to put you in that role. Will you feel guilty or feel shame because you're judging yourself as selfish or that you're doing something wrong? Yeah, you might. You absolutely might. But you still have to do it. You still have to put your needs first. Because understand, this doesn't actually make you selfish in a relationship. As a feminine woman, you are giving so much to a man. But not by holding space for him, not by providing for him, not by solving his problems. You are giving him respect, you're giving him reverence, you're giving him trust, you're giving him your receptivity, you're giving him your feminine energy, you're giving him your softness, you're giving him your openness, you're giving him your submission, right? This is what a man needs from you. He doesn't need you to hold space for his complaining. And the faster that you really understand that and start embodying that truth, the more masculine a man will become for you. And if you're single, the more masculine men that you will attract into your life. Men who don't want to complain to their woman. Men who are great problem solvers, who are assertive. Or if you're with a man, then you'll inspire him to be that kind of man. But you have to focus on you and understand that a man complaining and you tolerating it is just as bad as what he's doing. Because you're co-creating that dynamic by not being in your self-worth. All the things that, well, I shouldn't say all, because there can be some situations where a man is just being abusive and he won't change no matter what he does. But the vast majority of things that you are experiencing that you don't like in your relationship or in your love life, they are happening because you are co-creating it. You're enabling it. You're allowing it to happen because you're not in your self-worth. And that's really good news because it means that you can change it if you choose to. Once you learn feminine communication, once you learn how to shift into your self-worth, once you learn how to stay in your feminine energy, no matter what a man is doing. And also, when you learn that it is okay to flow away from a man or from a dynamic, temporarily or permanently, if he's not giving you what you need despite you being in your feminine energy. This is all about real feminine empowerment, not the goddess, boss babe feminine empowerment, which isn't feminine at all. But this is real feminine empowerment. You have the ability to change your reality, change your love life. You just need to know how. And if you would like help learning how to do that, then go below the video, open up the description. You're going to see the links to all of my offers that can help you do that. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. And if you would like my help and my team's help learning how to make these shifts and actually practicing this communication, then go to the Academy offer, that's thedreamrelationship.com, and book a call with me. There's a button below the video on that next screen to book a call, and we'll talk all about what's going on in your love life. We'll figure out what are you doing to get what you don't want. We'll talk about how to shift it, give you some coaching, and then we'll decide if the Academy is right for you. So that's thedreamrelationship.com, and if that's you, I will see you on that call. That's it for this one.